don't think.
Got it.
Thanks.
Yeah,
All right, status updates.
I don't think I've done anything recent with docs in like the past week.
I mean, the docs are working now. That's nice.
Oh, yeah.
After the outage yesterday.
It's pretty wild, but great.
Yeah,
that Terrence has like just can call up the VP of product for.
Yeah, well, he's got a lot of GitHub came out of the Ruby community, and Terrence and I both came out of the Ruby community like in the very early days. But then also there's a lot of ex-Heroku over there. Yeah, connections help. But it was it was a little unfortunate. I'm surprised that happened. I get what they were trying to do, but it's like, yeah, if I have a page with a path to docs, that's just not going to work. Like we can't be the only people that broke.
Yeah.
I'm guessing they did a check for like, yeah, I'm guessing they did a check now, or if they're going to add it back in where it's like, if you have an index at the root or something, it doesn't do that. I don't know. Yep. Yeah, otherwise, I mean, my only status updates have to do with registry, which we can talk about in a second. Is there anything to talk about with user research? Has everybody had a chance to look over the doc that Sam posted? And then did he post something else?
He sent out, I know internally, I think externally also, he sent out some of what he got from this previous two.
Yeah, he's got it. A Friday update here.
Didn't have much about docs.
Yeah, I think there's still a bunch that can be inferred. Like the stuff about bash and Dockerfile, I think confirms that our bash-based examples are appropriate for like the getting started stuff.
Yeah.
I do think like this is less of a learning thing, but Terrence and I have been talking about like a lib buildpack.sh kind of thing, which after this user feedback feels like a worthwhile investment. Like we were talking about something that would, and I bring this up because I think we would probably want to use it in the docs to remove like the boilerplate and stuff like that. Like you could basically just source this thing, and then you wouldn't have to have a bunch of the complicated thing like control flow to just do something really simple.
That'd be super interesting.
Yeah, like one of the things we were talking about was you could take some of the TOML files and sort of like deserialize them onto the file system, like in the way that we have the M files. So like if you have build.buildpacks/id or whatever, you could actually have a directory called buildpacks, a directory under that called, or a directory called build, a directory called buildpacks, a directory called ID, or maybe a file called ID with a string in it that is the ID. And then you don't need like JQ or YJ to parse the TOML. Might be easier for bash programmers. Bash programmers, still fun.
Bash scripters.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's interesting just because I mean, for the project, there's always a struggle of being too opinionated or not opinionated enough. And like the project lib build pack isn't really used. I mean, certainly on the Pacato side, it's not really used. I don't know whether it's used on Heroku.
No, we don't use Go, so that's exclusively why. I still think it's good to have out there, and I think it's an okay way to be opinionated because you don't have to use it, right? You can always eject and make your own or not use one entirely. Anyways, that's kind of off topic from learning.
But we may be updating the tutorials to use this bash thing. Great.
Yeah, that's true. But it's got to exist first, I guess. And then we can have that conversation. So unlabeled issues, it looks like there's, oh yeah, this is on me. I'm gonna assign myself to this. Sorry, I'm looking at the add new build pack toml keys 288. It's the only one that wasn't labeled.
I think I also mentioned we should
ready?
do this in the samples as well.
Yes, agreed. Do you did you create an issue for that too?
I think so.
What's the appropriate label for this?
I probably either platform or learning, either one.
Team, like just team learning?
Yeah, probably team learning instead of team.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I see the sample one. I'll sign that to me too. I'll get those done this week. Yeah, so that kind of dovetails into the registry launch, which I want to talk about. So Dave and I were talking about this week, potentially this week or next week, doing a pack launch with moving the registry commands out of experimental. And then Travis and I have been talking about, like we're gonna ship pretty soon a detail page for registry.buildpacks.io, which I don't actually, if you haven't seen it, this is the page.
Nothing is available through it yet, right?
Yeah, not the detail pages, but like you can search it, like search Packetto, and there's like a bunch of build packs. But it doesn't have the detail page.
When I searched for an empty string, it found 0 build packs, so it made me think that there's nothing on it.
I think that's a feature. No, we didn't want something that returns all
build packs.
Like we actually discussed that in the RFC, and I think it's captured there, but like that can get unwieldy really quickly. And so like NPM has actually disabled that ability to do like an all search.
The Google build packs aren't on the registry, right?
Right. I've started a conversation with them. I'll probably nudge them next week if I haven't heard anything. Yeah, I think what they're trying to figure out if they want to put in one big build pack that like represents, that's sort of like analogous to their builder, or if they want to split them all out, or if they want to do both. I told them any of those is fine. Like I told them the one big build pack is kind of less preferable, but if they were to do one big build pack and publish the individual build packs, they were worried about the interactions. They felt that their individual build packs wouldn't work well in isolation or wouldn't compose well, which is like, I think on the VMware side and Heroku side, we're like, yep, been there. We've sort of taken measures from our own experiences to make sure that they work well together. But even if that's true, I think publishing them individually would help them evolve into the individual build packs that could be used, composed, whatever. So, but yeah, anyways, so the things that need to happen for learning, I have a pull request out for the documentation to publish to the registry, including how to automate it with GitHub Actions. And I'll also at some point have a PR that just links to the registry. Do you think we should have like just a link at the top on the homepage that's like docs, search for build packs or something like that? Or should it be more buried in the docs sort of and just sort of sit alongside other things?
I think we could have a banner for it. think it probably makes sense to like have a banner on the website anyways for like, oh, the new function, like, you know, when we're
Mhm.
releasing a new thing. Just because I don't think everybody, as much as we you know, we hope that people
Mhm.
are like eagerly looking at every single change to our DAX. I don't think that's, you know, actually what's happening.
Yeah. The alternative would be a change log where we could just have a stream of new things, regardless of whether it's pack or implementation or whatever. Like that's a, I think, a useful pattern, but I'm not sure we have enough to make that something people would check regularly. And then it'd just be, if they don't check it regularly, it just wouldn't be very useful.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll think about that. I'll probably open a PR for something.
Okay.
Unless somebody else gets to it. Cool. Anything else on y'all's minds?
One, I guess, or this is more a random question, but where should, when people ask on Slack, let's say questions about Heroku build packs, or I guess, is it like best for me to just tag, I guess, you know, Danielle or Joe, or is
Yeah.
there like a Slack instance, like, I don't think there is a separate, you know, Slack instance for Heroku build packs or.
No, and it's really hard to discern. Like a lot of time, I think the Heroku build packs get a lot of use off of Heroku. And in those cases, I really wouldn't want to direct them to like Heroku support channels, because it just kind of muddies our, like, oh, you're not actually doing this on Heroku. Well, that would have been nice to know. So it's best, I think, to keep that in those kinds of questions in the CMB Slack if it's okay. But yeah, just tagging us if you have a sense of, you can always tag me. That is always fine. If you have a sense of like, oh, this is Node.js related, that might be a great time to tag Danielle, because I know she loves getting interrupted.
Sometimes.
Or, you know, like,
doesn't everyone?
if you think it's Jesse's a good one for the builder itself. Like if it's not specific to the build packs, Jesse kind of knows more about the builder. But yeah, you can always tag me.
All right, I was just trying to figure out what we should do for that. Okay, great.
Yeah, thanks for asking. I appreciate that, but it's been low enough volume that I would prefer to see every single one of them personally. So.
Okay, great. Otherwise, nothing else from my side.
Cool. Alrighty, well, let's call it early then.
Okay, fantastic.
See y'all tomorrow.